Heroes on the mound, aces for their ball clubs, the best of the best over the last 2 decades. Welcome back to 11 of the last 20. I'm your host, Chad Landers. Thanks for tuning in to our latest countdown here on Blue Ridge 11. Today we're back on the diamond to showcase the best pitchers from our coverage area over the past 20 years. So let's grab a glove and see who made our list.
What makes a really good high school pitcher? There's a couple things that come to it. You need to be a bulldog. You need to want the ball. You need to hate to lose more than you enjoy to win.
You have to have the ability to have tunnel vision. It's one pitch at a time, and you can't be worrying about the pitch that you just threw. You've got to be a competitor, and you've got to be able to deal with adversity. All of these players who are on this list demonstrated the ability to get up on a mound, hold a baseball in their hands, and block out all the noise.
You want somebody who, in clutch time, you can count on in big games, ask you for the ball, and just somebody you know is going to go out there and give you all they can anytime they take the mound.
Number 11, Manheim Central's Trey Everly, Barron's all-time leader in saves, future pitcher at Albright College.
What was it like having someone that you could depend on at the end of the game?
Well, for me, it was great. It was nice to know I had a guy back there at the end of the game that was going to come in and throw strikes.
Strike 3. Trey Everly's still looking there, just pumping strikes in.
He was a dominant high school closer, which is something that most high school teams don't have the luxury of having.
Trey Everly throws strikes. We saw him on the other night come in and close the Warwick game. It looks like he's their closer this year, and he throws a lot of strikes.
When Trey came into games, he just shut down the other opponent and was just a real reliable guy in that 7th inning for the Barons.
Late in that season, Coach Thompson, they were making a run for a section title into the playoffs. He needed a starter, needed someone to kind of take up some innings, and his best pitcher is throwing 1 inning a game.
Talk about pouring in strikes and getting ahead of the batter. Wow.
Fantastic job out there by Trey Everly, just coming in and chucking strikes.
So Coach Thompson said, hey, let's stretch you out a little bit. Started starting games, and Trey was unbelievable.
I think he was ready to come to me and say, hey, let me go more than an inning or two.
He put on a 2 or 3 week stretch. It's some of the best you'll see.
Bouncing ball is slowly hit to good. Comes up with it, and does they get him? Yeah, they got him.
He had a game against LS where he threw 7 innings after really only throwing an inning at a time all season. Comes out 7-inning complete game with like 14 strikeouts. He just kind of had a quirky motion. He was a taller, lean kid, and it just seemed like there were a lot of elbows and knees and different things coming at you. And what that does is it allows the pitcher to hide the ball. So as a batter, the less time you have to see to recognize pitches, the advantage certainly goes to the pitcher, and Trey did a great job of hiding that. That really helped him in his development as a really good high school pitcher.
And I tell you what, Manheim Central is going to get out of this.
He was full bore, full momentum, right towards that plate at all times. So he was definitely not afraid to just shove it in there, and you got to hit it, guys, to beat us. So that was a pretty nice thing to have.
Number 10, Garden Spot's John Armbrust, All-State for the Spartans, future two-way player at East Stroudsburg University.
When you look at John Armbrust from Garden Spot, he's a kid that was an honorable mention on our position players.
There's a hard ground ball, but right at the shortstop, Armbrust throws him out.
He was talked about on our quarterback list.
Here's Armbrust going to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Look at that pass on the mark.
So this is a kid who's super athletic, did a great job at running the offense for the Garden Spot football team. He was an all-state infielder.
3-1 pitch is grounded. They're going to come home, and they got him. I want to tell you, that was a somewhat chancy play by Armbrust, and it worked.
But pitching is something that maybe not the most natural pitcher, but when you have a right arm like he did, you can come out and you can do a lot of damage on the high school level.
A high, hard one, and he swings through it.
Most people remember him as an infielder, but on the mound, he was Garden Spot's ace, and I think he had like 100 strikeouts his senior year. He was just a tremendous ball player.
Another guy that could really let it fly and with good control.
John became the #1 starter for Garden Spot his last 2 years, and a really high number of strikeouts, which is pretty good for a high school player, especially somebody who would probably consider themselves an infielder first. and a hitter, yet could go out on the mound and kind of dominate hitters is pretty special.
On to first for one, and a return is in time for the double play. So Armbrust throws one pitch and gets Gardenspout out of the inning.
Number 9, Manheim Central's Taylor Rohr, 4-year varsity starter, future pitcher at Division II Pasco Hernando State College.
Starting pitcher Taylor Rohr, and he's been the key guy for Coach Huber most of the year.
Oh yeah, he's their ace. The first thing you think of is what if. Has a shoulder surgery after his junior year and gets shut down and can't throw as a senior.
He strikes out the first K of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big sweeping curve. Those are tough to lay off.
After being a 3-year varsity pitcher leading into a senior year. So you just kind of, what if he's around and the kind of stats he could put up.
Taylor Rohr was one of those kids that could beat you either with his arm or with his bat.
That ball is well hit to right field, and this ball is gone. Home run on pitch number 1, thrown to him by Taylor Rohr, and boy, that ball left in a hurry.
I mean, with his arm, he was an ace left-hander, had good stuff, and threw strikes.
How about that? A strikeout to start the game against this lineup for Rohr.
Threw strikes, had a lot of movement on his fastballs, great off-speed pitches, could really change his speeds with the best of them.
Rohr is going to use that breaking ball a lot.
Great power pitcher and smart. Really knew how to hit the spots in the strike zone.
He had a mind that you could just see him out on the mound. It was always kind of running and always working and gearing towards what he needs to do to get batters out.
I would look for another great performance out of Rohr.
A lot of times in baseball you hear there are pitchers and there are throwers. And the throwers are the guys that can just heave back and fire a ball 90 miles per hour or have that devastating changeup or curveball. But a pitcher is all up here, not necessarily everything in the arm. And that was Taylor Rohr.
He is locked in today.
And he throws that one through.
He was the kind of kid who wanted the ball, especially in big games, and he delivered. Just a real good pitcher.
Number 8, effort is Dylan Good, 2-way star for the Mounts, future Division II player at Lock Haven University.
Dylan Good was, he kind of thrived on the big games. There is the starting pitcher tonight for the Effort Mounts, senior Dylan Good, and he has put together quite a season on the mound. And he was a big game pitcher for Coach Shelley, and I kind of that bulldog mentality.
Every once in a while in baseball, you get one of the players that may not wow you when you see him physically, or they may not wow you what you see of their pitches and what they can do. But you get kids like Dylan Good, who is just such a competitive, hard-nosed kid.
Here's the 3-2. Curveball and a beauty.
That's a good pitch.
That is really smart and knows the game, and you see them dominate high school hitters.
Dylan Good is one of those players who needs to play in playoff games and championships. And if his team is successful enough, you're going to see the best in Dylan Good.
Swing and a miss. Rhodes down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dylan Good to start the 4th inning.
He was a peak performer in clutch situations. And Dylan, if you're watching this, with all due respect, had Lock Haven played for playoff games and championships, you might get drafted. When we played big games, that's when you saw the best Dylan Good. Whether it was at the plate hitting home runs, and league championships and district championships, or whether it was getting us there by shutting Cumberland Valley out. The guy just pounded the zone.
There it is. Got him looking. Dylan Good strikes out the side in the 4th. A 1-2-3 inning.
And he was tough to face. He pitched a lot of really big games for us his senior year.
He's one of the biggest big game pitchers he's ever had. Did a great job for the Mounts in district and league playoff games, and just had an outstanding 3-year career with effort.
Again, when the game was on the line, or we needed a big performance, you got it from Dylan.
The countdown's only getting started. Coming up next, we look back at the best pitchers from number 7 through number 4. It's all ahead on 11, the last 20.